What's going on, everyone? It's LFC Transfer Room here, and it's pre-match, match day, match. Do you know what, Drew? I need a replay of this intro. We need to start again. There needs to be I'll start again. Replay. What's going on, everyone? It's LFC Transfer Room here, and today I'm joined by Drew Alexander to preview the FC Union. Or Royal Union match in the Europa League, but we're also going to have a chat about most recent Klopp comments as well with regards to the replay. Today, you've just got me and Drew. You ready, Drew? He's got his phone set up, prepped. You know everything about the Union players? Royal Union St. Gallies?
I know Alexis McAllister's brother, but that's about it. A little under the weather, but Kevin. They got some interesting names for where they're from. Kevin and Alexis from Argentina with the last name of McAllister.
Kevin McAllister from Home Alone, isn't he the dad?
Yeah. No, he's the kid, Kevin, right?
Oh yeah, it's the Kevin, isn't it? Yeah. There we go. We're going to start just by talking a bit about the match replay that Klopp said in his conference. And I've been chatting with some people on LFC on the YouTube, on the Twitter today about it. But before I give my opinions on it, Drew, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this replay idea? And please put them in the chat, put them in the comments. What are you thinking about this Klopp stating that we should have a replay?
I don't know if I actually don't think he stated he'd like it. I don't think it was like forcing the issue. He's like, we deserve a replay or anything. He's like, I would like a replay, but I don't personally. I wouldn't want one. I don't think I think it's too icky or too complex. I am okay and happy that Liverpool have pushed the boundaries and pushed back, because I think it's just absolutely ridiculous how many errors have been made, and the accountability systems that are in place are all by the PGMOL. So there's no outside arbitration or anybody looking in. It's just them. It'd be like a company messing up time and time again, and they're like, oh, we'll figure it out ourselves. And they're not doing that. Clearly, they're trying to protect themselves and shift blame. It's like, oh, this guy won't ref this weekend. That's about the extent of the punishments that I've seen so far with these incidents. So I think there definitely needs to be some more accountants, because it's a poorly run organization. You'd hope that an organization like that, when they make mistakes, they wouldn't try to hide it, or wouldn't try to beat around the bush or protect themselves. They'd be like, all right, we need to make this better. But it's been going on for so long in so many different ways. It's just, I can understand the frustration, especially when it's clear as we didn't get a goal that we should have got a goal, and it's clearly their fault. But replay just seems, I don't think it would add any, besides points if we win or draw. I think the pressure and just everything that the headlines around the game, all the hubbub around it, just wouldn't be worth it. I think Klopp just needs to roll that into the performances moving forward. But
hubbub. I mean, I'm not using
the hubbub, man. Where are you sitting though? I'm curious.
Create a hullabaloo. And here's Jen creating a hubbub with a super sticker. Thank you very much, Jen. Always appreciate the support to the channel. I've got to be honest, Drew, I'm kind of with you as well. I was listening to Mark Halsey this morning explain that actually there's a special circumstance in the laws where you can actually stop the game. If there's spitting or violent conduct or something of significant, egregious error has happened, the refs do have the power to change it. So there was an opportunity for VAR to intervene and actually use a special condition measure. It was within the rules. It's just what they say is you can't stop the game after it's been restarted. But if, let's say, for example, someone was spat on and that got caught and it got caught late, you can go back. So there is some special dispensation laws, which Halsey was saying, he was former Premier League referee, if anyone's not aware, was saying that's exactly what he would advise them to have used in that situation, because it was a special circumstance. But having said all that, I'm with you. I don't think a replay is the right thing. I don't, because what I would say is, if Spurs were offered the opportunity to do a sporting gesture and let us score the goal, and they said no, screw you, Liverpool, then you can start to have a conversation about, well, has the efficacy of sport been compromised within this? Should there be a replay? But the referees took the decision away from Spurs, so they're not culpable in this at any time. And the chances of Spurs beating us is very low generally anyway. So I think it's a bit harsh to go replay, because it favours Liverpool significantly. We know we're better than Spurs. So why should Spurs be impacted for something they had no control over what happened? So I think from that perspective, I don't want to replay. But I also think that if we had a replay, and I think there's a chance we may get offered one, just so that the PGMOL, the focus goes from them onto hating Liverpool. Because everyone will come together, as you said, hubbub about Liverpool on this particular issue. So everyone will be focused on Liverpool and not actually improving the quality of virtual assistant refereeing, transparent communication, actually taking the game forward. And I think if Liverpool had a situation where the game was more transparent, more open, more equitable for everybody, we could hear decisions and conversations made video record, like public, like on rugby and stuff like that. I think with a more transparent system, Liverpool win more trophies. So what do we want? Do we want 3 points, the potential of 3 points, or do we want a fair and open refereeing system where we can constantly improve and communicate back and forth? And for me, that's what I want. I'll lose 3 points. If we miss out on the Premier League by a point because of it, but we end up with a fair and open and transparent refereeing system, I will take the loss. We're Liverpool Football Club. We're the most decorated club in all of England. We're going to win more trophies. If we were Spurs and it cost us a trophy, I get the outrage. But, we're going to get there again. And I think I would rather we take a little hit for the benefit of everyone, because I actually think it would benefit Liverpool more. Again, let us know what you think in the comments. Drew, what do you think that's about right? Or can you see any logic in a replay? I know you're on the not replaying, but can you see any logic?
Yeah, well, I like what you said about shifting the focus from the PGMOL to Liverpool, because you can just see the amount of hate that Liverpool's getting for even questioning it from some of the pundits, and then the reactions to the replay. It's like, if we don't get a replay, everyone's on our side. And that's rarely the case for Liverpool. But if the situation would flip, and then there's so many, I think there's some, I guess there is a precedent for a replay. I remember reading about something where a game was replayed in 98 or something like that. But I just don't do you replay it from the minute that the goal is scored? Is Curtis Jones on a red card? We're 10 men down. It just seems like adding another game in this already hectic fixture list. And then what if, God forbid, Liverpool just loses again? Then it's just that'd be absolutely morale crushing. Versus where the fire's in the players, the fire's in the fans. And as you said, the focus is on PGMOL and making the game clear and making advancements, which in this system, which has been so rarely the case in the past. So I think there is a precedent for the game being replayed, it's just too icky. I don't want to see it at this point. It's just take the momentum, know that we were wronged, and carry that moving forward. Put that in each and every game moving forward, and don't let it affect the outcome at the end of the season.
Now, Paul Lindo makes play replay what happened. Give us our goal, take a point. And the reason I don't think this can happen is because it was the first goal in the 34th minute. So if for example, a situation was to happen where something happens 34th minute and the match is abandoned, let's say, for example, the game would have to be replayed. And the game would be replayed from scratch because it was the first half of the game. Whereas if it was the second half of the game and the match gets abandoned, the result holds. So when Howard Webb replayed that game in America, it was from, I think, the 65th minute on, because obviously they passed the ball into the back of the net and they didn't give them the goal. But they're not going to give us a goal, because what's the point in giving us a goal? Because we'd be 1-0 up. And, having the theory that the game would run out the exact same way is impossible. As Klopp said, they scored pretty much 2 minutes after. And part of it was their build-up play came from a specific side as opposed to the central pitch. So it creates far too much variance, far too much sort of whataboutery if you tried and replayed it from a different point. If you give us a point, look, end of the day, Spurs got their 3 points. It meant a lot to them. Look how happy they were. And that's going to be the situation. One of the things that bothers me most about this, though, Drew, is I think this situation pretty much will end our chance of winning the league. I'll explain why. So I think now we're in a situation where the PGMOL cannot show any favouritism towards Liverpool, because otherwise, chaos. Any decision that is 50-50 now will always go against Liverpool, because what they can't have is a situation where it favours Liverpool. And people say, they're trying to even the score, they're trying to balance it out. So what they're probably going to be, and we saw this probably with the referee in the second half with how harsh he was to Liverpool, even though, the Robbo yellow card, the Jota yellow cards, the level of harshness towards Liverpool was probably not him consciously thinking, I'm going to screw Liverpool over, but I can't be seen as being biased towards Liverpool to try and even the score. So he goes the other way. He overcorrects. And I think that's what the PGMOL is probably going to do whilst this stays in the news, which is overcorrect, which means we're not going to get the 50-50 decisions. Some go for you, some go against you. I could pretty much guarantee all will go against us for the remainder of the year. And that's absolutely, I completely get the logic of that, but I think there'll be an overcorrection. So I think probably if the title comes close, we already have the biggest VAR corrections because the referees make the most wrong decisions against us. So add in that as well, I think we're in a really sticky wicket.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying and see the side of your argument. I don't think we're going to see that favoritism or flipped. It seemed like in the past, though, that did happen, like before VAR, when refs would make a decision, like a wrong offside, they'd be like, let one go or something like that in the past. But yeah, it sucks because it definitely seems like that's Liverpool is going to get the stiff end of the stick on this one, not even just off of losing a goal and having the Tottenham result, but moving forward. Like, it's just, we already didn't have a great relationship with the PGMOL or, certain referees in the league, and this certainly won't help moving forward. So I completely agree with you. I don't think we're going to get any help from the referees. And if that adds up at the end of the season, then we won't win the league. But I think the bright spark for me is like how we're still, like, we beat City both games. We're ahead of them by 4 points? Like, I think the fact that it's so close, I think the injury crisis happening at Arsenal, City, they have a couple red cards. I think it's a lot tighter this year just because of how City kind of lost their depth a bit. Like, they certainly have an amazing all-star squad, but I don't think they had the depth that they had in the past. Like, just see them getting knocked out of the League Cup this early shows where their squad status is at. But so I'm buoyed in that regards of Liverpool's contending for the title, especially if Klopp can rally them, because I think we're better than anyone else, maybe bar City, at just taking it game in, game out, and just collecting up win after win after win after win. I think City and Liverpool are the only teams that have shown that they can win like 16 games on the bounce when it comes to crunch time. So I think that, and combined with Liverpool's quality and squad and maybe a transfer window that helps reinforce needed positions, I wouldn't count us out of the league yet.
Andre, hopefully January. More and more new. The more I see of him, the more it's like, oh, this guy's built for us. And I agree. I think Rodri's the bigger miss than Kevin De Bruyne for me, from the looks of things for City, because the drop from Rodri to Calvin Phillips is huge, or it seems to be in terms of how they play. They lost Kevin De Bruyne. They've got a whole plethora of attacking midfielders who are interesting in different ways. It can attack in different ways, whether it's Doak, Matheus Nunez was good, but then you've still got people like Foden, you've got Bernardo Silva, so they've got a range of attacking and players. Whereas that locking it down, like Rodri, I think he could be serious for them. And obviously not competition for us, but Chelsea lost Chilwell, didn't they, for 2 months, which is just like, what is it with their left and right back that just break down constantly? Honestly, my car, which hasn't run for a year, is probably more reliable than them.
Yeah, they're the Naby Keita and the Chelsea.
Naby Keita might have made more appearances than Reece James so far this season.
Most likely.
But we're going to move on to the match preview. The main reason we're here, we're back in Europa League action, back at Anfield. It was really good to see Union SG at Anfield today, laying a reef down in front of the 97 and stuff like that. It's, a mark of respect. There was a really great video of Alexis McAllister and Kevin McAllister chatting on video call and just sort of talking about their journey together and stuff like that. And I think the more we learn about Alexis and the more he gets to learn about us, I think he's quickly becoming a Liverpool player. I think he needs Andre here to just free him up a little bit more. They're currently sitting top of the Belgian Pro League. 9 games played, 6 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses, scored 18, conceded 12. So they are a little bit leaky. And their last 2 results have been a loss and a draw. Can you see it should really be a Liverpool win, shouldn't it, Drew?
Yeah, I think especially after the game against Spurs, you're going to look for a response, Anfield night, and by response too, I mean the crowd is going to be insane. The crowd's going to want to win. That 12th man is going to be apparent throughout the whole game. I think the players are going to want it big, like a big result, and it just doesn't seem like at this stage in the competition, Liverpool are going to struggle. So I don't see anything other than like a solid 3-0, 4-0 Liverpool win.
Yeah, well, we'll finish on actual score predictions. Once we've built our team, then you can predict. And we've got players, everyone's saying Starwin's going to be vital in the next 3 games. And one of the things that's pleased me the most with all this controversy and conversation and legal and words and stuff like is players like Darwin Nunez, who've just been like, we're a team, we're together. Trent today in his press conference, he goes, what are you on about? Just taking the mick out. That even though this will feel like a proper gut punch, they're just like, no, this is fuel. This isn't loss. This is fuel, and we're going to show everyone why we're worth more. I don't know if that's happened. Still there, Drew?
Yeah, I'm still there. Can you hear me? No, hold on.
Do not know what's happened there. Hi, Drew.
Sorry about that. Apologies, James.
I think that was me.
With you. Really?
I'm not sure. But anyway, we're back. Cheers, Nunez. So I think it's the positive vibes of the players and stuff like that. the focus that they've got. It's pleasing to watch people so sort of committed to just going, well, it's happened. We'll let the club deal with what happens after it. We'll just focus on the next game and winning the next game.
Yeah, it reminds me of when we had the season where we won the league, how we were just able to attack each game at a time. Like, I know it's the football cliche or sports cliche, but when Henderson was like, we're just focused on the next game in every single interview, I think that ability to just put behind the last game and attack each game as it comes with your full attention is a huge asset. I think that's where Arsenal failed last season, where they were just getting excited by like the ceremony and everything. I think just the experience of Liverpool, helmed by Klopp, players like Alexander-Arnold, a lot of these players have been there before when we haven't made it, and they know what it takes to get the big trophies. So I think all of that plays into what you're saying, where it's just like every single player, it's like, how we're good, that's already last week, and the best thing you can do is play another game to get the previous result out. And I think we finally have the quality again where it's no longer like piling up, where it's like result after result, where we're just not getting it over the line or we're getting kicked in the teeth. I think that can just be super disheartening, which we've seen in past couple seasons. But this season, we finally have the players again where we can mount a charge on all fronts. And I think that's part of the positive vibe in the camp, where it's just like, all right, screw last game. We're ready to play this game. We know we'll win.
Completely agree. And what we need to do, Drew, is obviously we need to pick a team for this match against Union SG. So we'll do it with chat as well, whilst we've got everyone here. So we're going to start to build our starting 11. Once we've built our starting 11, then we'll do score predictions based off the starting 11. Obviously, if me and Drew agree, then that's 2 votes. If me and Drew disagree, this is where the chat comes in. You are, in essence, the mediator in this situation, and you will tell us who the starting 11 is going to be. If you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. It's a fan channel made for you, anything like that. If you're here to hear our opinions on the Klopp one in the replay, well, you're just going to have to go back to the start of the stream, because that's where we talked about it, because now we're focusing on the Union SG game, and we're going to build our starting 11 so that we know who is going to bag a hat trick for us in the next game. So we're going to start with the goalkeeper, because this is still the discussion. I'm going to go with Kelleher to start with. Who's in goal for you, Drew?
Kelleher.
Not Alisson? Not, really dominant? No, okay.
He deserves a night off. I mean, he's been working overtime.
Some cracking saves against Spurs as well, wasn't he? Some really good saves against Spurs. That Maddison one was a Hollywood save.
Fingertips around the post.
Okay, so next we're going to build our back four. And, give us your back four in the chat and stuff like that. Who have you got in your back four? Neil Andrew's got Trent, Konate, Quansah, and Costas.
I can see that. Yeah, I'd say Trent and Costas get the nod. Trent hasn't played in a little while. Could use some minutes, like 60 minutes or so. I'd say, Quansah is another good shout. I don't think he'll play the weekend against Brighton. Maybe Konate starting as well. I think I agree with that lineup from Paul Linda, because Konate could use some game time, as could Trent, and Quansah probably won't play at the weekend, so giving him minutes in this game would be good for his development. Tsimikas, natural fill-in for Robertson. I think that's the back four. You?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Edit Supreme. Well, I don't think it'll be Jones. I think it'll be Trent. I think let's give Trent, a game to get his passing boots in. There's going to be a lot of deep runners and stuff like that. We should be on top. I think Costas, Trent, Quansah. I was just mixing Konate and Quansah in it. It's like a superpower. I think those as a back four is going to make it. Now, Helio, you'll be able to answer me this. Is Jones, does his 3-match ban include Europa League? Don't think it does. But It's worth checking.
Thanks. Thanks. All right.
Elliot normally knows the answer to these things. Midfield 3 for me, and I'm assuming Jones can play, would be Endo, Jones, and Grav. Because I think Grav needs to get some game time in his legs before Sunday. I think he just needs another game, a more dominant performance, and a start at Anfield. So I would go. Yeah, I would go Endo, Jones, and Gravenberch.
Yeah, that's same with me. I completely agree. Jones won't get much chance for game time. What's up?
Lindo's got a great name in there, hasn't he? Harvey Elliott. He deserves to start.
Ooh. Well, maybe he starts over Gravenberch then. That's right. Jones, Endo, and Elliott.
I mean, it might be Endo, Gravenberch, and Elliott, like it was the other one. I'm just thinking Jones plays because Jones is banned.
Maybe he comes on as a sub then. Yeah, I was thinking the same as you for the ban. Like, he's not going to get a chance for game time for like a month. So, but I don't know. Maybe that doesn't matter. Elliott does deserve game time.
Supreme's gone for Gravenberch, Jones, and Endo because Endo needs more game time. I definitely think Endo's going to play. Neil Andrews Elliott maybe left wing.
Maybe right wing. Salah break.
I think that's his more natural position, right wing. Anyway, it'll be between Gravenberch and Elliott for me. I think Elliott might get his chance to play and claim a spot against Brighton, but we will see. Agree, Elliott, Endo, Elliott, somewhere. Okay. So we're now in a situation where we've got our Kelleher's in goal, Costas, Trent, Konate, Quansah is our back four. Midfield 3, Endo, Jones, Gravenberch, or Elliott. Front 3.
I'm going to go with Elliott on the right because I honestly think Doak shouldn't start. I think I'd like to see what he can do with 30 minutes on a tired defense versus starting from the beginning. Because I think last start he played brilliantly for the first half and then just faded out as the time went on. And his end product is not quite there yet. So I'm kind of curious to see if we could sneak him on for the final 30 minutes and if he could get a goal with tired defenders' legs to see what that could do for his development and confidence. So if we're getting in that midfield of Jones, Endo, and Gravenberch, I'd like to see Elliott on the right, Nunez up top, and probably Jota on the left, kind of make up for the silly decision for that second tackle on Tottenham, red card, and chances are he'll come up with a goal anyway. His goal to minutes ratio is insane.
Right. Do I think they're gonna not play Salah again? It's at home, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, actually, I'm with you. I think they'll leave Doak on the bench. I think they'll let him come on as an impact sub. I think they'll probably put Elliott there. So I'm going with Gravenberch in midfield, Elliott on the right. I agree. And then I think Nunez. I think Nunez is ready to just explode. I think he was eager to come on against thing. I think they're just going to release him against Union SG, and I feel for them. Because I think he's going to cause chaos. And Jota will probably then be the left wing because he's just going to sweep up everything. All the chaos that Nunez creates, Jota just seems to ghost into those positions and probably get a few goals. So probably a Jota hat-trick with would be my guess, just based on how that midfield's going to work, because Harvey Elliott's incredibly clever at finding people with passes. And actually, the way Salah started playing on the right wing, creating chances for people, is very similar to how Elliott naturally plays anyway. So I think I can see more comparables now than I could when Salah was just an out-and-out goal scorer. So yeah, I think I agree. And no one seems to be that offended by anyone we've picked. Salah will play like the 70th minute, probably. Yeah, do we think? I think McAllister will come on as a sub against Kevin.
I could see him starting though too. That's something Klopp would do.
Yeah, Jota to have a stinker and score 2 or 3, absolute guaranteed.
It's not a stinker then, though, is it?
When Jota plays terribly, he always scores.
Yeah, but then does he play terribly if he scores? I think that's the.
This is the point. Don't make me start explaining the Jota thing to you again. I confused myself last time.
Where's Harmony? You can't give him a 6 when he scores a back heel.
Yeah, you can't give him a 6 when he scores a back heel goal. But he was terrible, but he scored a goal, and he's a striker. Anyway, I'm just going to give myself a headache. So this is our starting 11. Kelleher in goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ibrahim Konate, Jarrell Quansah, and Kostas Timiskas as left back. Endo, Jones, Gravenberch midfield with a Harvey Elliott, Darwin Nunez, and Diego Jota front 3. With McAllister coming off the bench to just put a few moves on Kevin, and hopefully they let him play in a more advanced role and let Endo stay there as DM so that he can sort of, really show up Kevin McAllister. That would be my preference. If you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. And please give me your score predictions in chat. We're going to go through some score predictions for Liverpool versus Union SG. Remember, they are currently top of their league, scoring 18, conceding 12. Although the last 2 games, they have lost 1, drawn 1. Score predictions, Drew.
I'm going with what I leaked at the beginning of the stream, 4-0. Take Jota on 2 goals. Maybe a Kevin McAllister penalty when he comes on later. And leave the last one up to the football gods.
Jamie Hughes with the 3-1, Lindo with the 4-1, Supreme with the 4-0. I think, we should have a clean sheet against these. Neil Andrews gone for a 4-1. I think a 3-0. And I think a Jota hat-trick, despite the fact Darwin Nunez probably is the one that creates all the chaos. I think both centre-backs will be all over him, and Jota will just sneak in and just slam, 3 cheeky goals away.
Like Cowed at United with Suarez.
Yeah. Everyone focuses on the big, scary aggression monster, and then suddenly this sniper comes in and just slots it in the bottom corner. It's basically Jota's entire game, and it's spectacular for us because you've got Salah, now you're going to have Szoboszlai, you've got Nunez, you've got Diaz, and then Jota just appears out of nowhere and scores. It's kind of the player that you need. So I've gone with a 3-0, you've gone with a 4-0, Ernesto's gone with a 2-0. It's the lowest one so far. Nunez 2, Salah 1, Jota 1. For me, Nunez is due a hat-trick. I've said it before. I think Nunez is due a hat-trick, but I think he's due a hat-trick against United. That's what I think. When we play them, that's when he pulls it out of the bag.
No, he'll get a hat-trick against like a Bournemouth when we score 9 again. One of those games.
And just, so Helio calms down. Will Bobby Clark or Luke Chambers be involved tomorrow? I think it depends for me. It depends on where we are at 60 minutes.
We're 4-0 up, probably.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's probably they'll get maybe time once we already secure first in the group. I could see that being like a wholesale change for the final game.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be involved tomorrow because I think we might have a bit of a mentality piece going on with the crowd and with the players. I think tomorrow will need to be a statement to go, we are angry, we are ready to fight. And I think they may pull out some of the big guns tomorrow just to sort of send a message to everyone to go, well, Liverpool Football Club, you don't mess with us, because once we roll back, and I think we'll know in the first 10 minutes if the players are in that mood, because you'll see pressing from everywhere. I think it could be the catalyst to the Liverpool start of old. If you remember, like, first 20 minutes used to be pretty much game, set, and match over, because people would just hold on for dear life. So if we do that, then maybe they might get a game, because I think we'll get the entire crowd and everyone, and I think everyone starts to focus on Liverpool when we play, as opposed to focusing on the injustices that Liverpool are having to deal with. So that's my prediction for that. Thank you very much for Drew. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us. We are back tomorrow for post-match, I think. I think it's a post-match tomorrow, so it'll be a late one. It's not going to involve me. Way past my bedtime. But Drew, you're just getting up at this time, so you may be involving Drew. Thank you very much for Drew for joining us. Thank you very much for all of you being in the chat. Both me and Drew, we're not for a replay for the Spurs game, and if you do want to understand our rationale behind all of that, please go to the start of the video where we talked about the replay so you can catch up on that. If you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care.